Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. This is my day one recap of the 2024 National. Now, for me, usually the first day of the National is more of a recon, just to get a sense of the layout, especially since I've not been to the National in Cleveland before. Just to see how everything's laid out, go through, see what tables I may be interested in, just a quick peek of their inventory. I did not expect to buy anything today. That was not the case, and I'll get to that in a little bit here, but I had VIP tickets, and there was a sort of a sneak peek VIP thing gathering at 2:30, so I wanted to make sure I got there early enough. I got there around 1 o'clock. The line for the VIP tickets was not that long, but it wasn't too long. I had to go out and put my parking pass into my car, and by the time I did all that and got back, the line was stretched. There was 100, 150 easily, I think, in the line at the time to get in. Finally, they opened the doors at 3:30, and my goal was I printed out a map of the whole convention center, and I was going to go as fast as I could. I didn't even touch. I maybe hit half the tables today. There was so much to see there. So I went table by table, and if there was stuff I was not interested in, I would cross that table off. If there was some inventory that I thought I may be interested in, a few of them I did take some notes because there were some specific cards that I saw that I wrote down what the card was, the grade, and at least what the offer, what they were asking for it, not negotiating any deals at this point. So I was making good progress. One of the cards that I was hoping to get, I spotted a copy. And like I said, normally on Wednesdays, I'm a bit hesitant to make a quick purchase. I'm one of the ones that likes to shop around, to see what's out there, maybe try to get the best deal. I came across this one card. It was in a grade and price point that I was comfortable in looking at. Well-centered copy, and so I ended up picking up that card, and I'll be showing that off in a minute here. And then came the squirrel card. When I did my preview video for the National, I had outlined certain cards that I would possibly like to pick up, either on my 100 cards for $100,000 list, my 100 cards for $10,000 list, and I outlined a couple Warren Spahn cards that I needed to help work on his player run that are not in any of those two 100 card lists. And that's what I really had my sights limited on. Well, I passed by this one table, and this one card caught my eye. It is on my 100 cards for $100,000 list, but was not one that I had even thought of that I would be picking up. I saw it, I saw the grade, I saw how well centered it was. The asking price was a little steep, but through a little negotiation and what he was willing to come down on the card, I think it was a great purchase on my part. I'm so happy to have this card, but unfortunately, after day one, only a half a day, I still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays primarily just to meet Wade Boggs. I've spent almost half of my national budget. So I didn't anticipate buying this one card, but I'm going to show it off here. And then I'm going to just finish this video here with just some general screenshots. Again, I didn't even walk around the entire space. My initial thoughts of the venue. Wednesday was the sneak peek Wednesday was a pretty good crowd, I thought. And with that level of crowd, of course, I think it's going to be a lot busier tomorrow and especially Friday. So we'll see how that crowd works within the space. But my first impressions are that there is a good amount of room down the aisles and the columns and stuff like that. I didn't really have a sense of having to force your way into a table to look at a particular card. Most of the tables I went by, it was fairly open, which was nice. The area that I was in, or that I was able to explore for, it was like 3 hours or so that I was there today. Some of the areas were carpeted, so that helped with the feet. The whole air conditioning thing, that was an issue last year. The sneak peek for the VIPs, which was in the lower level, there were so many people down there that got to be a bit stuffy and like really feeling like humid and stuff. So that wasn't the best. But the main show area, I wasn't feeling hot or sweaty. So I think they had their, at least for today, they had their whole HVAC system working fairly well. All right, and after I show off these two pickups, I'm going to just, again, show some general clips. As the days go on and I have probably run out of money, I'm going to spend more time doing some table videos and stuff of some of the inventory, some of the corporate areas and all that stuff to give you a sense of really what's going on. But these initial videos just give you a sense of, again, probably half of the total space that I was just even able to look at today. So the first card that I picked up, and this was one where I did a video maybe 2 years ago that showcased cards I regretted selling, or I regret selling. And my goal eventually someday is to get all of those cards back in my collection, and I'm almost there, and this is one of them. And it's one that's just dogged me for a while, just never could find the right card to pull the trigger, and finally picked it up, and it is the 68 Topps Johnny Bench rookie card. Found this in a PSA 6. Of course, once I picked this one up, I found a bunch of 4s and 5s that I probably would have been happy with, but I just love the centering on this. I'm going to be doing more follow-up videos and sort of wrap up where I'm going to give you a better image here. The lighting in my hotel room isn't the best in the camera here, but really like this copy, and even the back is fairly well centered. So very happy to finally have this Johnny Bench rookie card back in my collection. And now for the squirrel card. I call it a squirrel card because, you know, I'm focused on one thing or whatever, and then this card just out of nowhere goes like squirrel, and I see it. And there's a story behind it. I don't normally necessarily talk about prices and stuff, but this one here is part of the story. So the asking price was $1,300, and I saw Greg Midlife Cards shortly after, and I said, man, I saw this one card, and I said, they have it priced fairly high for the grade. And he said, well, because I described it to him, you're well centered and all this stuff. He says, well, he says, maybe if you could get it for $1,150, that'd be a pretty good deal, down from $1,300. He says, why don't you go take a picture of the card, and that way you can show it around to some of your friends and all this fellow YouTubers and get their opinion on the card. I said, great idea. So I went back to the dealer and I said, hey, can I take a look at the card? And so I took a picture of the front and back. And then I said, just curious, what's the best you could do on this? And without me offering a number, he's like, I could go down to $1,150. So that's exactly the price that Greg said would be a good deal for this card. So I said, well, I'm not going to do it yet, but I may be back. So I took the picture, showed Greg. He's like, wow, that's a great looking card. Then I ran into Eric Those Back Pages and Dave Blue Jacket 66 and a couple others, and I showed them the picture, and they said, yeah, that's a really nice copy that's a great looking copy for the grade. I'll show you the grade here. And I told them the asking price and all that stuff, and I said, I wonder if he'll take $1,100. And they said, well, you can go check, but I wouldn't dicker over $50. So I decided to go back to the dealer, and I said, would you take $1,100 for it? And he says, no, the best I can do, it's a new slab. He had to pay, I guess, an upcharge for it. It was a PSA slab. And he says, $1,150 is the best I can do. So I pulled the trigger on $1,150. Very happy with the purchase. It is on the high side of the comps for the grade, but I paid the upcharge for a well-centered card, and I think it's very well worth it. So I then went back to Dave and Eric, and I didn't have the card in my hand. I had it in my pocket, and I'm like, yeah, I asked if he could take $1,100 for it, and the guy said no. I said, so I walked away. You know, I didn't want to have to pay that extra $50, and they give me this stare, and they're like, you didn't just walk away for $50. I'm like, no, I didn't, and I showed it. So the card in question, which I'm so glad now to have in my collection, is the 48 Bowman Stan Musial. This is in a PSA 3. I, again, was not anticipating buying this card, but check out that centering. Yeah, there's some corner issues, but it's just a beautiful card. I absolutely love it. The registration on it is great. There are no creases on it whatsoever. The guy who submitted it, the dealer, he thought it was going to come back a 4. And so with this being one of the, a newer slab, supposedly PSA maybe being a little tougher on the grade, this is probably very, in my opinion, a strong 3. So it's worth that extra premium. So yeah, Wednesday, day one, did not go as I had originally anticipated. I thought it was just more recon, maybe taking some notes, thinking about potential purchases, and here I go, buying these 2 cards and nearly spending half of my entire national budget. So the goal for tomorrow, check out more tables, see what their inventory is. I hear that there's some decent vintage on the other side, more near the corporate area. I'll try to take more video, and I'm hopefully have a couple more pickups. I did identify some smaller cards, ones that are on my 100 cards for $10,000 list, some pretty nice examples that I don't think will break the bank, but I don't want to necessarily pick them up yet because that may hinder me from getting some bigger cards. We'll see. But again, we'll wrap up here with a little bit of video from the National, and I'll catch you for the wrap up of day 2.